Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shabbat Shabbat Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders who came before them that taught us his truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. All right, so this lesson uh, is going to be a little longer than most. We've got some videos to watch. And I got to read this piece, okay? And the lesson is going into the C-hip, or the history of the C-hip, okay? And what I'm about to read, first I'm going to get a couple of precepts, and then I'm going to read this thing, but it's amazing what is being said, all right? It goes into the whole Black Messiah COINTELPRO thing and what this devil is actually up to. So start with 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan, all right, the devil, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. What device specifically? Now, a lot of people call themselves in the truth are ignorant of this, but not the elect, okay? All right, so I'm going to just read this. Revelations 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay? So we're going to deal specifically with this one, right? And the history of whatever this is, this charagma, as it pertains to MK Ultra. Okay? And how they've been developing this thing going way back. All right? Nazi Germany, LSD, drugs, and witchcraft, really. The drugs itself are witchcraft. So, all right, so we'll go here. We're going to read this. Okay? This Oviedo space, Oviedo Sepis. I don't know what that is. All right? So, and it goes into Donny Hathaway. All right? They say that Donny Hathaway killed himself by jumping out of a window. And same thing happened with Admiral Forrestal, right? So it's a technique, right? It's a CIA technique of getting rid of somebody when they don't want that person uh, to out them, if you will, to expose what the CIA is doing. Okay, so Donny Hathaway, suicide and death conspiracy. Now remember this Black Messiah thing, right? That's Hamashiach. Black Hamashiach. What is that? And what is this devil so afraid of? This goes back to J. Edgar Hoover and all of that. So I'm going to read this. I'm going to try to get through it quickly, all right? I'm going to try to read the whole thing. Let me see. Okay. I am inspired by many people, but rarely am I inspired as much as I am by the soulful message of Donny Hathaway. His melodic, deep, smooth, and focused delivery is matched by few. Before reading, I would like you to listen to this interview with Donny Hathaway, specifically at the 2:20 mark until the end. Basically, the last 40 seconds. If you could take the time to listen to the entire interview, that would be beneficial. Donny passed too soon for the world to hear the soulfulness of his voice and underlying message of strength, thoughtfulness, power, activism, and worship to Almighty God, Almighty Most High God. Donny was, by all accounts, the voice that Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder looked up to. And this is true, all right? But they're going to go, how do we get from here to the C-hip, all right? Donny's story ended tragically with what some determined to be suicide. However, I believe a different account that his death was planned. Donny Hathaway was targeted and murdered. Many artists have the skill to make their audience feel emotion, but rarely is an audience touched so deeply that their collective soul is pierced, their mind awakened to consciousness, and their body ready to take action. Donnie was a powerful voice of activism after the death of Martin Luther King. Okay, now it goes into this part. There has always been a hidden agenda against Black America, now listen close, in which people will not admit to, but is unquestionably institutionalized. Okay? The clear reason is genocide, meaning complete annihilation of the Black genotype. All right, so this devil is all the way up inside because he knows that we're the 12 tribes. All right, so let me just try to get through this. Abortion, mind control, and deception is the method. Okay, what's going on with Kanye right now? All right, Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, openly stated we should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal. We don't want the world to go out. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. There's the devil right there. Okay? Now, on a previous post, I discussed the CIA's MK Ultra program and Project Monarch, mind control experiments and implementation. The origins of these studies are based on scientists' findings that the monarch butterfly learns where it was born, its roots, and then passes this knowledge via genetics on to its offspring. Okay, we're the children of Israel, from generation to generation. This was one of the key animals that tipped scientists off that knowledge can be passed genetically. Thus, scientists also learned that mind control programming can be passed down. So, if you can indoctrinate a person or being or bring them to Salakia. So, if you can indoctrinate a person or bring them into mental submission, this mental slavery can be passed down from generation to generation. If you desire to keep the truth of a people's identity hidden, whoo, that's a huge statement. If you desire to keep the truth of a people's identity hidden, his hidden ones, okay, you can brainwash them by means of subconscious programming, ultimately keeping their genetic knowledge from rising to the surface, unless the Most High wants to wake you up. All right? If those people ever wake up and find out who they are, they will demand their proper position in society by any means necessary. Are you following me? So not one time has this guy mentioned that we're the tribes, but this language, it dictates what we're involved in here. When you listen to Donna Hathaway's music, it makes you wonder, how could a man like this commit suicide? Some people always argue that the entertainment industry is stressful, with days full of pressure at a nonstop pace. Even the strongest people succumb to it. But that's the key. People succumb. Now, I'm sure that Donnie had arguments with his family members, his wife. Maybe there were even times when he wasn't the best around his children. But given the environment of the entertainment industry, one would expect a person to at some point act out. Most often, it is the people close to you who receive the friction. And perhaps that was a result of the daily pressure Donnie was under. Just ask Dave Chappelle, who is in the news right now for his SNL genius. Chappelle once said, and I'm paraphrasing, you don't get to that level, you don't get to the level of success that a Mariah Carey, Martin Lawrence, or myself have attained having a weak personality. You have to be tough to get there. He went on to point out that something must be wrong with the entertainment industry in that it produces such dysfunctional behavior. There could be something that people are not acknowledging or recognizing, like what? MK Ultra. So, again, to my point, people succumb to their environment. Donnie was a soul, a spiritual man connected directly to the Creator. Of course, we are all human, and I suppose pressure gets to the best of us at some point. Maybe Donnie should, Salaki, maybe someone suggested to Donnie that he talk to a doctor, and then some pseudo psychiatrist diagnosed Donnie with paranoid schizophrenia. This was the key to Donnie's downfall. He was then put on medication and at one time was taking upwards of 15 pills a day. And this at a time in the 1970s when antipsychotic drugs were more experimental than useful. I still say they're experimenting. Now, MK Ultra comes out of Nazi Germany, all right, and fair use to this whole thing, all right. The fair use clause. This is for educational purposes only. All right, so it's going to go on and get into to some stuff here. Of course, I would say most pharmaceutical drugs are detrimental to one's well-being based alone on their own warning labels. Take Depakote, for example. If you read my previous blog post on Similac Depakote, you know that this drug was illegally used to treat dementia and schizophrenia. People taking Depakote report having hair loss, tremors, headaches, vomiting, insomnia, dizziness, and weakness. Additionally, nervous paranoia and delusions have all been reported effects of taking Depakote. Someone taking Depakote could certainly sound like a person going crazy, like Kanye West. Remember that? He wouldn't take what they were about to put him back under with. I do not know exactly what Donnie was taking at the time of his death, but I do know that whatever it was making his life more difficult. Donnie complained often that people were trying to kill him. He said they were inside his head, stealing his thoughts. In one instance, a friend explained while he and Donnie were watching TV, the screen lost the signal and turned to static. And Donnie complained that the screen had a message, kind of reminds you of Channel Zero. What else may Donnie have been talking about? Okay, let's see. It goes way in. It goes way in. I think I should read this. I'm going to try to read this. The state-of-the-art artificial telepathy in the 21st century is not extraordinary military industrial complex science. It's as simple as receiving a cell phone call in one's head. Indeed, most of the technology involved is exactly identical to that of cell phone technology. Satellites link the sender and receiver. A computer multiplexer routes the voice signal of the sender through microwave towers to a very specifically defined location or cell. The receiver is located and tracked with pinpoint accuracy to within a few feet of actual location. But the receiver is not a cell phone, it's a human brain. Now, this is letting you know how far this devil, Esau, has come with his technology. All right? Basically, they're saying they can send and receive thoughts into your head, what you're thinking and what we want you to hear. All right? And that's powerful. All right? So let's read on. Out of nowhere, a voice suddenly blooms in the mind of a target. The human skull has no firewall and therefore cannot shut the voice out. The receiver can hear the sender's verbal thoughts. The sender, in turn, can hear all of the target's thoughts exactly as if the target's verbal thoughts had been spoken or broadcast. That's crazy, all right? For this reason, the experience could be called hearing voices, but is more properly described as artificial telepathy. The problem is that artificial telepathy provides the perfect weapon for mental torture and information theft. He's this far into this thing. It provides an extremely powerful means for exploiting, harassing, controlling, and raping the mind of any person on earth. It opens the window to quasi-demonic possession of another person's soul. See that? Demonic possession. Dealing with demons here and the ether. Artificial telepathy used as a non-lethal weapon system becomes an ideal means for the military-industrial complex to target a subject for harassing demons, to discredit, neutralize, or simply mind rape the target insane. Kanye West, okay? He could be being made to say and do these things. Why? For a larger psyop, if you will. A hologram, because what we see in all we see right now in the media is they're coming after Jews and anti-Semitism. So what are they going to do with that? They're going to do these false flags and say, oh, well, now you're attacking. Now that as a result of Dave Chappelle and his stand-up act, as a result of Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, now Jews are being attacked all over the United States, right? Like they were in 45, as they say. A hologram is a projected three-dimensional representation of a person or object normally used in communication or entertainment. Holograms were used mostly in telecommunications as an alternative to screens. A holocamera of any recorder or receiver would acquire the dimensions, form, and movements of an object by means of ray scanning. The vision then could be transmitted simultaneously somewhere else or stored and reproduced on a holo projector at a later time. That is deep. That's deep. You think they're not using that now? Artificial telepathy hologram manipulations would explain how Whitney Houston could see faces, imagine an all-seeing eye on the walls, carpets, doors, and inside and outside of her closets, and be harassed 24 hours a day with holographic demons. Do you hear this? A secretly coded Holy See project was also publicly exposed 2 decades ago. The Holy See project, got to write that down. That's another lesson right there. The Holy See project was a collaborative of the CIA, Office of Naval Intelligence, and the Vatican in the use of holograms to create visions of angels, light beings, and demons, etc., to mind control populations. You hear this? 2 decades ago, the military-industrial complexes were developing out of this world non-Hertzian scalar electromagnetic surveillance, and manipulation and alteration of DNA, RNA to conform with mind control, hologram, optical protocol. Metaverse, anyone? Many artificial telepathy electromagnetic victims report dream manipulation, sleep deprivation, or induced sleep at inappropriate time. Memory input and control, subliminal control, visual hallucinations, holograms, hearing distortions, sense of touch distortions, microwave burns, involuntary muscle movement, voice and speech input, control of emotions, and personality overlay. Personality overlay. If they got control of Kanye West and can use him when it's time to create a distraction or when it's time to lead the children of Israel to a movie called Hebrews to Negroes that just conveniently points to Japheth instead of Esau. Okay? Artificial telepathy, electromagnetic weapons used at lower levels of amplification can cause extreme forms of physical discomfort, debilitation, and confusion. Men and women are assaulted on sexual organs, which cause extreme discomfort and pain. Total control of body functions, such as manipulation of breathing and heartbeats. Many become ill with migraines, cataracts, burns, digestive tract health, conditions with massive rectal bleeding, skin cancer, leukemia, breast cancers, brain lesions and tumors, various cancers, various diseases, chronic fatigue syndrome, various teeth problems, Alzheimer's disease, Epstein-Barr virus, heart attacks, heart disease, brain tumors, brain aneurysm, and death. This devil, right, this witch needs to be stopped. I know this sounds pretty far out, but read your history. People have gone to extremes to hinder, oppress, brutalize, and otherwise attempt to obliterate entire groups of people. To keep a people down, any true, authentic, and genuine ray of hope must be squashed. Okay? A little more here. Let's get through it. Donny Hathaway was a genius of music theory, a master pianist and songwriter, and possibly had the most beautiful male voice in soul music ever. Needless to say, we dearly loved Donny as much as he loved God and us. According to fellow musicians James M. Toomey at the recording studio, Hathaway said, "White people, Edomites, were trying to kill him and had connected his brain to a machine for the purpose of stealing his music. Because of Hathaway's mental state, the recording session was aborted and all of the musicians went home." Here's the point. Connected his brain to a machine. This is them working on the C-hip, trying to perfect it through a genius, black messiah, Donny Hathaway. Hours later, Hathaway was found dead on the sidewalk below the window of his 15th floor room in New York's Essex Hotel. The glass had been neatly removed from the window, and there were no signs of struggle, leading investigators to rule Hathaway's death a suicide. Now it goes into Frank. Frank Olson was a U.S. Army biological warfare specialist employed at Fort Detrick in Maryland, who was at first said to have taken his own life due to depression, suicide. Later, it came out in the 70s that he had been given LSD without his knowledge at a joint meeting with CIA spies and U.S. Army biowarfare experts who cooperated on biological weapons, toxins, and drugs with the collaborative of Operation Paperclip war criminal Nazi Kurt Blome. See where this comes from? MK Ultra, drugs, under the umbrella of MK Naomi and MK Ultra. This was said to have driven him to leap out of a 13th floor window 10 days later at the Statler Hotel in New York. It would seem that Donny's death could also fit the CIA assassination manual recommendation, drugged and thrown from the 15th floor window. In 1979, Donny's statement that white folks had connected his brain to a machine would seem quite paranoid in lieu of the state-of-the-art of psychotronic and the CIA's secret development and covert MK Ultra Monarch experiments on citizens at the time. And just as schizophrenic as Frank Olson describing covert hallucinogenic poisoning by LSD in 1953. You see how long this devil been working on this project? And it all comes to the C hip. But due to Donnie, led to take his meds, what? But due to Donnie led to take his meds, he would not have had to have taken LSD. His system was already under the influence. Kanye West, his trainer, trying to get him to take specific drugs so that they can get him back under control. But he said he wouldn't take the drug and that nobody could control him, which they're clearly, if they got all of this technology, they're clearly controlling him. Okay. In 1979, before his death, Donnie was describing brain connected to a machine to steal his music, bioelectric brain entertainment experiments. In other words, EEG electrodes were attached to his head, measuring and recording brainwave electromagnetic impulses to, let's say, creatively developing melodies and melodic patterns and motions, and then playing back the recorded electromagnetic impulses in very low electromagnetic frequencies or extremely low electromagnetic frequencies to fool the brain to mimic the same creative thought process, creating the same melodies and melodic patterns and motions, which was the state-of-the-art science in 1979. Psychotronics, brain machines, and bioelectric brain entrainment. Did I say entertainment earlier? Entrainment. Bioelectric brain entrainment experiments. Brain entrainment. Okay, they're mapping this guy's brain and how he thinks in order to create that music, which is a message. Same thing with George Clinton. What was George Clinton doing? Okay, they had to stop that. George Clinton, space invaders and all of that. Okay. We get through all of this. Brain entrainment. Just as in the case of Frank Olson, Donnie was openly resisting and complaining about secret bioelectric brain entrainment experiments that he was being subjected to over fears that he would expose the mind control experiments to a public that dearly loved him. He was thrown out of a 15-story window as recommended by the CIA assassination manual. The last studio album that Donnie recorded was Extensions of a Man in '73. The album contained the single Someday We'll All Be Free, okay, which was written by Edward Howard about the mental anguish and suffering, paranoid schizophrenia, that Donnie was plagued with. After Hathaway recorded the song, he listened to the playback of the studio cut. Hathaway cried as he listened to the song for the first time. Today, there are support groups like Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance and Mind Justice that may be able to help save lives, families, and mental sanity. Donnie, the Black Messiah of music, is still in play, inspiring people through his powerful message, angelic voice, and focused delivery, giving the people encouragement and strength to fight the evil, as the brother said, that may fail to acknowledge but now exist. I'm unapologetically for humanity and the liberation of all people in suffering. All right. Put your fist in the air and say, man up. Rest in peace, Brother Donnie, the Black Messiah of music. All right, so that's very, very telling right there. Okay, so now I want to watch, where's that at? Where's that thing at? Oh, let me see. This. Okay, let's slow something that down. I want to watch one before this. Let's watch So Men Down. And she's crazy. I'm gonna just let it play. All right. So this is Fame versus Sacrifice 4 years ago. Donny Hathaway. She can break it down.
Huh. Somebody look at your neighbor and say she finna bring it tonight. I say somebody look at your neighbor and say she finna bring it tonight.
That's E.
And if you ain't got a neighbor, look at yourself and say she finna bring it to fuck a night. Oh, we gonna jump right into it, cause that's how we do it over here. Donny Hathaway was born October the 1st, 1945, in Chicago, Illinois. Like most kids when they were younger, he stayed with his grandmother instead of his mom and daddy. You know, that's why we got to give thanks to the grandparents. Because when the mama and daddy can't get it right, the grandparents end up being mom and daddy all over again. Y'all know how it is. Some folks might wonder where Donny Hathaway's music talents came from. Well, I'm finna tell you. Most folks don't know. Donny Hathaway's grandmama, Martha Pitts Cromwell, that's her name. She was a professional gospel singer. And she went to church every Sunday. I said she was a professional gospel singer. And she went to church every Sunday. Every time they had service, she went. And Donny Hathaway, he had to go to church with her. Y'all know how it is. Now, y'all know most of us black kids, we can imitate real good. If we see something, we know how to imitate it real good, if we like it. So little Donny Hathaway, he saw his grandmama, okay? He used to see his grandmama in church. He used to see how she sung so good, and he liked it that. He used to see how she used to act in church, and he liked it that. So after a few years, he had grandmama down packed. I said he had grandmama down packed. He know how to sing like her, move like her. Okay? At just the sweet, tender age of 3 years old, Donny Hathaway was singing in a church choir. Not only was he singing in a church choir, Donny Hathaway was known as being the nation's youngest gospel singer. Yes, he was known as being the nation's youngest gospel singer. So when we see these talented niggas out here now and day, I said when we see these talented boys and girls out here today, just know they've been raised by some powerful woman. Okay? And they knew how to imitate real good. Oh, come on, let's move on with the story. Donny Hathaway began to further his career, and he ended up signing with the Atlantic Records in 1969. He made a song called The Ghetto. I know some of y'all done heard that song. And that song, along with some of his other songs, became hit songs. You know, people start to like them, and people start to listen to them. Now, if y'all ain't heard of none of his songs, y'all can go check him out. He got some nice songs. Okay, now we done heard of his good music, and we done heard of his song lyrics that we can relate to. But some of us, we're not aware of the dark secret that he was facing. Some of us didn't know about it. During the best part of Donny Hathaway's career, when his songs were selling and everything seemed to be going good, Donny Hathaway, he started to suffer from a deep depression. That's right. I said he started to suffer from a deep depression. And if y'all done had depression, y'all know that don't feel good. He had to start taking strong medication. And he had to take this medication daily. Okay? Not just once a day, but sometimes 3 times a day in order to control the depression. His wife at the time said he hated to take the medication, but that seemed to be the only thing that would calm him down. Some of y'all might ask the question, so Maddie, how he just go into depression at the height of his career when everything seemed to be going good? Well, I'm going to tell you. The powers that be fucked Donny Hathaway's head up. Yeah, I said it and I'm going to say it again. I say The powers that be came in and fucked Donny Hathaway's head up, just like they do most of our talented legends. Can I tell you Donny Hathaway's story tonight? I say, can I tell you his fucker story tonight? Donny Hathaway talked to some folks that he thought he can trust. You know, when it's somebody you think you can trust, you don't expect them to bite your neck like a motherfucker vampire, okay? And suck the blood out of your body. Catch that on fleek. So Donny Hathaway, he told a few folks about his dark secret, the shitter that happened to him. Donny Hathaway said white people was trying to kill him. I ain't saying it. I'm just telling you what he said from his mouth, out of his mouth, out of the dragon's mouth. Donny Hathaway said that white people was trying to kill him. He said those powder-faced fuckers connected his brain to a machine. Y'all hearing me, right? He said that these fuckers connected his brain to a machine and they start fucking with his brain. That's what he said. He said they did that to him so they can steal his music and his sound. So I'm coming to tell you to fuck a night. He just ain't become fucked up overnight. He just ain't developed this motherfucker depression overnight. Them fuckers fucked him up when they did what they did to him. And when he tried to go and tell somebody, they threw dookie in his motherfucker face up. Okay? And tried to tell him he was crazy. You know, that's what fuckers try to do to me. Tell me I'm crazy. Oh, but bitch, no, I ain't crazy. I'm in fucking sane. Catch that shit on fleek. So I'm telling you, they came in. I say the powers that be came in and fucked him up. That's what they did. A few folks, after he told a few folks what happened to him, that same day, the same day, hours later, he was found dead on the motherfucker sidewalk. Listen to the story. He was staying in the Essex House Hotel. This was located in New York City. And he was staying on the motherfucker 15th floor. Look at them numbers. The 15th floor. They said that he jumped from his hotel balcony and committed suicide. Bullshitter. Bullshitter. He ain't jumping, fucker, commit no damn suicide. Now y'all know that's some motherfucker bullshitter. Now y'all know niggas already scared of heights. Y'all know we scared of heights. We ain't gonna jump from no motherfucker balcony. We ain't gonna do that. If we gonna commit suicide, we gonna pull a Fantasia. I ain't got nothing against her, but I'm just telling you. We gonna pull a Fantasia and we gonna take some motherfucking pills. Okay? And we gonna go to La La Land till we take our asses up out of here. But we ain't gonna jump from no motherfucker balcony. All you gotta do is look at the proof in the motherfucking pudding. Ask Bill Cosby about that shit. The proof in the pudding. And we already see what the fucker is up. Donny Hathaway was taken out of here by the motherfucking powers that be. And they lied to us and told us it was a motherfucker suicide. Every time they know they finna take these celebrities out of here. I want to say this. Every time they know they finna take these motherfuckers and celebrities up out of here, they always got these motherfuckers record a song about heaven. So they got them recording a song about death or heaven, okay? Or expiring to another transition in life. I said I feel like breathing. The last song that he recorded before he died was called You Are My Motherfucker Heaven. You Are My Heaven. That's the last song that he recorded. I'ma end it right here. Guess who they had to do his fucker funeral? Jesse fucker Jackson. Jesse Jackson. I don't even need to say nothing else. When they get Jesse Jackson to do your funeral, you know it's some fucked up shit in the game. I say you know some fucker up shit went down. Period. Point blank. So our brother Donny Hathaway, they took him up out of here. Rest in peace. He ain't make no sacrifices. Okay? He seen the bullshit going on in the game. He wasn't even with it. Is it okay, motherfucker? You don't want to be with it? Alright? Shit, well, let's get the music and shit up out of his hand, just like Michael Jackson. Okay? Let's investigate inside of his head and see what we can get and put into another body. A clone. Oh, I'm going to end it right here. See, because I can keep on going. I see you real soon. Y'all be good.
All right, so that was a little long. Okay, now I got one more. And this is about this C hip. Let me see. Let me go back. It's a lot to bear with me. What do I got? All right, so let's get to the C hip. Here's where we are today.
And with artificial intelligence,
the whole Donny Hathaway thing. All right. I knew about this years ago because I was all into studying the MK Ultra, the whole thing. But and this is the military. This is witchcraft. Okay. But here's what they want. They want to be able to control everybody. They want to tag you. What does this tag do? What was that shot? All right. What was that operating system? Plus the chip, and then you're the main frame. The body is the main frame. They put the operating system in, and now they need a chip, or the C hips will lock in. So, and here's that. All right. Technality. Channel Technality. The dark side of this Elon Musk's Neuralink, a C hip. Okay, this is the C hip. All right, so let's watch. And they were clearly working on it through people like Donny, through MK Ultra. All right, and now here we are. If that was in '79, okay, this is 42 years later? How far have they come? Let's watch this.
is straight out of Black Mirror with the goal of allowing you to send a text. Elon Musk's Neuralink is straight out of Black Mirror with the goal of allowing you to send a text with just your thoughts. But this brain chip has a controversial side, from animal abuse to the possibility of chips being hacked, the dystopian idea of humans becoming one with artificial intelligence, and the unknown impacts on our brains. Welcome to Technality. I'm Rachel Parent, and today we're looking at the dark side of Neuralink. From Twitter to Tesla, Elon Musk seems to be everywhere. But your brain might just be his next profitable business. To understand how he could do this, let's go back to the beginning. Neuralink, founded in 2016, is one of Musk's most controversial companies, developing brain chips to implant in people's skulls. The chip technology works by being inserted in the brain behind the ear. It's roughly the size of a coin, and tiny wires and electrodes embed themselves and fan out inside the brain. These little wires have over 1,000 electrodes to record and potentially stimulate brain activity. All of the data would connect from the chip in the brain to computers for research, basically downloading your brain activity onto a PC. Musk has repeatedly compared it to the Fitbit of the brain and says the ultimate goal is to have a product that combines AI and the human experience that works to prevent or treat neurological disorders. He's gone as far as claiming it could one day cure autism. Neuralink has been positioned as a technology that could help those struggling with disabilities to increase their access to everyday activities, with the first chip potentially going to quadriplegic people. This would theoretically allow them to control technology with their mind, even sending a text with a simple thought, according to a tweet from Musk. These goals are lofty, and while they do seem well-intentioned, that isn't the full story. There's a dark side, because technologies like this come at a cost. In 2020, Gertrude the pig was one of the first animals to be showcased wearing Neuralink. With the chip inserted, they were able to predict her exact steps on a treadmill. They also tracked her brain as she did different activities, resulting in these beeping sounds that indicate nerve reaction. But if the eventual goal is for implants to be in humans, there had to be more test subjects than Gertrude. And she wasn't the only animal that had her skull cut open in this risky surgery. This monkey's name is Pager. He's one of 23 macaque monkeys that were used in the 2017 to 2020 experiments in collaboration between University of California, Davis and Neuralink. In this video, you see him controlling a game with his mind. And while everything looks normal, there's a different picture painted by animal rights organization Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, or PCRM. And that's where things get grim. PCRM put forward a complaint to the US Department of Agriculture claiming that the 23 monkeys experienced extreme suffering during experimentation. The group based the findings on more than 700 pages of documents obtained through a public record request from UC Davis. The documents had everything from veterinary and necropsy reports, and PCRM stated that at least 15 of the monkeys died or were euthanized by 2020. Neuralink and UC Davis have now admitted to euthanizing 8 animals, but they paint a different picture, saying there was no suffering and everything was up to code. After 2020, Neuralink created their own vivarium for further testing and cut ties with UC Davis. But the goal is for Neuralink to reach the human mind. And Musk is taking it to the next level, saying progress will accelerate when we have the devices in humans next year. And Neuralink has some competition. Synchron, another chip company, beat them to the human trial stage when they implanted a device in the first person this summer. While Musk is making promises of getting devices into humans soon, Neuralink hasn't even gotten approval for human trials from the FDA yet. There won't be any real data about how Neuralink works in humans until the first test subject volunteers. But perhaps people are not asking enough questions about the potential implications. Like, what if a chip malfunctions? Being so close to the brain, what would happen if an infection occurs? Are the risks of brain surgery worth the result? Or perhaps scariest of all, if hackers got into the brain chip, what would that mean for a person's behavior or health? It's hard.
Let's go back. Some Donny Hathaway shit right there.
Person's behavior.
See this? Okay. What's going on? Alright, just pointing that out.
Or health. It's hard to fathom these futuristic, hypothetical situations.
Okay. They've been doing this for, they've been getting this C-hip ready. Okay, for what? For that NWO. Alright. You got niggas out here saying that, ain't no micro C-hips. And this devil been at it for years. All right? And who are they coming after? They're not coming after Esau. They're trying to control who? They're trying to prevent what? A black Messiah. Yahushua. And they can't do that. All right?
Aren't unrealistic. And if this is going to be inserted in the heads of humans, they're questions that need answers. Well, the project is a couple years behind, with Musk originally saying he wanted implants in humans by 2020.
Their time is short. Okay? They're behind schedules. They got to rush. You scumbag! You've rushed it.
The next date to look out for, though, is November 30th for his upcoming show and tell event where he should be giving updates on the project. He sees a future where we download memories and thoughts to play back, or telepathically summon our parts. It all sounds very futuristic and Black Mirror, and potentially unrealistic according to many experts. So far, the monkey experimentation hasn't shown anything particularly new or different from studies in the past. Knowing that, we have to ask ourselves, are the risks and potential suffering worth an outcome that's unknown or even out of reach? So what do you think about Neuralink? Will you be lining up to get one when it's ready? Let us know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the future.
All right. So we're going to get a couple on the way out. I know this ran long, Salakia, but this information has to come out. So we will go here. Let's see. We'll go to Revelation 3. And 10. Okay. Revelation 3 and 10. Here's what you got to do. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. You got to resist. All right? You got to resist. That they're going to try to force you. He causeth all. All right? You got to keep the word of his patience. And don't be in ignorance. All right. Let's get the ignoramus. Sirach 5. Sirach 5 and go. And what? And 15. Be not an ignoramus. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. All right. So, hey, there's your information right there. All right. Donny Hathaway didn't jump out the window with a stick in his hand like Abraham Lincoln. All right. All right. So with that, you can go ahead and end it right here. We hope that the elect are edified. Don't take the C hip. You brothers and few sisters, with that, shalom.